Hey guys, we are back for Insecure Season 4, Episode 3. Lowkey Thankful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to your girl. Alright, let's get into it. This is a more Lawrence heavy episode, and it's kind of just based on what happens on Thanksgiving Day. So, yeah, Lawrence is talking to himself. I'm like, who is he talking to? It sounded like he was trying to give a pitch to somebody, and then I hear an alarm go off. So he's in the mirror practicing, talking to, I guess, his job or whatnot. It sounds like he's trying to, get a promotion or whatnot. So from there, the alarm, which was loud as ever, like, y'all, I am the kind of person, I don't really need alarms. So it's very alarming when I hear alarm because I'm a real light sleeper. And I usually wake up before I need to be up most of the time anyway, for work, anything. So that loud ass alarm that Condola had going off because she was still asleep and Lawrence was in the bathroom or whatever. I was like, oh my God, I had an ex who used to have that same alarm, and it used to just sound scary as hell. And then my husband right now, he sometimes uses an alarm, and then he has like alarms for just to go out throughout the day. Not no more because we ain't got nowhere to be and no alarms are needed. But oh my God, it's just so irritating. I've never been an alarm person. But anyway, I'm pretty good at remembering stuff and getting up and all that. This ain't about me. Anyway, yeah, so him and Condola, they chilling out. She stayed the night at his house, I guess, apparently. His bed, was that a queen size bed? Because it looked real small, and Lawrence is kind of tall. Condola don't seem like a very petite woman, and that bed looked like a full to me. It might be a queen, but that bed looked small to me, y'all. Let me know what it looked like to you. So from there, he's talking to Condola about, Thanksgiving and all that, and what else? Oh, I think he mentioned that he was talking to Condola about, doing shit or whatever, and then he tell her that she makes him, because she said that she was going to be doing something for the homeless or something, and he was like, damn, girl, you make me want to step my game up. So I think one of the things that Lawrence really likes about Condola is, like, she makes him want to be a better person, and I'm like, so Issa didn't? But, I mean, Issa just, like, accepted you as you were for the most part and lets you find your way. But whatever, y'all, we're going to get into all this. Let me not get ahead of myself. So anyway, then she's like, he asked her, did she want to have like a little low-key Thanksgiving or something because he knows that she doesn't have family or whatever there. She's like, no, she's actually hosting a Friendsgiving. And he like, oh, so did you want me to come? And I'm like, it didn't seem like, she's like, oh yeah. So it didn't seem like she really was planning on him coming. I mean, it's Friendsgiving, but it's probably like her you do that with your close friends and everything. And it kind of seemed like Condola wasn't necessarily, like, honestly, from a woman's point of view, like, if I wanted you to come to something, I would have told you way ahead of time. So it didn't really seem like she wanted to spend Thanksgiving with him in the first place, but he kind of just inserted himself, how, like, oh, sure, you can come if you want to, like, type of thing. That's pretty much how that came off. So from there, then it jumps and it tells us the time frame from the block party. And it's 2 months before the block party, and he goes for the meeting that he was practicing for at his job, and then all of a sudden, the front desk chick was like, oh no, it's rescheduled, and he was like, really? And then she was like, is everything cool or whatever? And she's like, and you could tell in her eye that shit was not okay. But anyway, from there we see Lawrence in the car with Chad, and Chad is in the new range, riding, getting it, pimping, and he was just like, oh damn, that's fucked up or whatever to Lawrence. And then Lawrence tells us, discloses that his company just lost one of its big investors, and half of the company got laid off, and people are getting, it's fucked up at his job right now, and so ain't nobody about to get promoted. You lucky if you got your job at this point. So he's just finding this out about his job, and that could happen, especially, in these times in the world, ain't nobody got a job, but this could definitely happen in tech a lot, because tech companies, they can be kind of unstable. But anyway, from there, Chad is like, damn, man, he kind of fucked up how shit is going for him. He discloses that, he works in real estate. He says that he hasn't sold a house in over a month. And he's like, Lawrence is like, damn, if you ain't sold a house in over a month, why did you just buy this new Range Rover? He was like, shit, to keep up appearances and to keep his, up with his girl and other bitches. And I'm like, you ain't shit. But he was like, yeah, man, he's like, he told Lawrence that he needs to upgrade too. But anyway, jumping from there, Issa is in a cafe watching that Finding LaToya shit. And then Lawrence walks in. I'm like, damn, they bumping into each other a lot. This is kind of strange. I know they like a lot of the same stuff because, they're exes. And I'm like, do they all live that close to each other in the same vicinity or something? But then he walks over to Issa. He's like, Issa. And they're like, hey, what's up? And then they start talking and cracking little jokes. They're a little bantered. They exes and they've been together for so long. They cordial. And then they was making little kiki haha jokes about movie spoilers. And then Condola walks up. I was like, oh, what's she doing here? And then it turns out that that's actually a spot that Condola introduced Issa to and that she likes to hang out with. And I guess her and Lawrence were planning on meeting there, and that's why that's why her and Lawrence are there. And then she's like, oh, my bad, girl. Sorry to take your spot. And I guess she was sitting in Condola's actual spot, too. It's like, dang. So she's like, oh, it's okay, I'm just leaving, Issa says. And then the barista or whatever is like, oh, meatball sub and some type of latte or whatever for Issa. So she clearly wasn't on her way out, but she just left because it'd be hella awkward to be sitting across or sitting around from your ex and his new boo. So, and then as Issa was walking out, she was just kind of looking like how he was embracing Condola and stuff and all that. And it's just like, So it's starting to sink in what this whole Condola and Lawrence think is. And like, again, they haven't been broken up for that long. And to see your ex of 5 years with somebody else, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you say you over it and it ain't been that long, you just ain't that over it. I mean, we ain't that evolved, okay? And I know Issa, I know she ain't that evolved with her character or the actual Issa. She don't seem like that either. But anyway, from there we see Molly and Issa are in the grocery store grabbing some last minute stuff, I guess, for Thanksgiving, and Issa just doing some random grocery shopping because she got just a little basket, so she ain't doing no real shopping. Her and Molly are talking or whatnot, and then she say how she saw she say how she saw Lawrence and Condola, and then she's like, girl, for real, I don't even know why you keeping up with that or whatever. Wait, is that how it started? Let me go back. Hold on, y'all. No, first Molly goes in to just talk about, they were talking about family stuff and how Issa was saying how she got to spend Thanksgiving, at her mama's house and with her mama new husband and everything, and she just didn't really want to be dealing with like new family, and she just missed the old days, I guess, when my parents was together or whatever, as far as being with family. Then Molly goes on and she was just like still saying that she's kind of awkward and weird about her father because Molly's father cheated on it's old, like a long ass time ago. Molly's father cheated on Molly's mom, and then Molly's mom forgave and all that, and then it ended up coming out, I forgot when, I think it was at their parents something, and Molly has just kind of been funky with her daddy ever since because she always thought her parents had this great marriage that she was trying to model herself after, like whenever she did get with somebody, and then it just seems like everything came crashing down, and she's just like, I'm like, girl, they stayed together, calm down. And that shit was old as fuck. I mean, yeah, like Molly has a tendency to like take other people's grievances and like act like they're her own, and then judge people so harshly like they did it straight up to her. And if the other person can find it in themselves to forgive, you can't do nothing else but forgive. Like, how you gonna still be mad and shit when it didn't even happen to you? He cheated on your mama, not you. I guess she feels cheated too, but whatever, y'all. Because I know a lot of people who are like that. But anyway, so from there, then Issa and Molly start talking about how she crossed paths with Lawrence and Condola, and then let me see. Molly missing. Oh wait, no. First, Molly starts talking about to Issa like, oh, are you gonna still come to my house for pie or whatnot? So I guess sometimes you make your rounds on Thanksgiving. I guess Issa's supposed to come by for some pie for dessert, and she was like, yeah, sure. After I'm done with the fam, I'll be over there. Then Molly goes to say like, oh, I wonder if I should invite Andrew, and then Issa goes on to say like, girl, nah, don't invite him. You gonna fuck up and be like the old Molly and scare him away. Molly did not find that funny, so that kind of triggered this whole little thing between Molly and Issa, because Issa mentions the Condola and Lawrence seeing them, and then she was like, I don't even know how you dealing with that. And then she was like, girl, it was fine when I saw them, it was nothing but positive vibes, which is not the truth. Issa clearly is starting to be bothered by this whole Condola and Lawrence thing. And then what else? Sorry, y'all. Gotta look at my notes. Oh yeah. Then Molly makes a little scat comment saying, oh, I don't know how you're gonna deal with that throuple. Then Issa throws it back in her face like, girl, you literally just got done with a throuple yourself, that whole situation with Dro. And then Molly, so at this point they're going tit for tat. Then Molly goes and talks about at least I ain't fucking for toiletries and weed or something, because referring to TSA Bay. And then Issa like, well, hold on now, that wasn't even necessary. And she was like, I know, but you was coming for me and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like they both kind of came to agreement like, hey, it just seems like we've been off lately. And then they got quiet, and then it was like, can we just talk? And then she was like, yeah, we'll talk at Thanksgiving when you come over for pie. Also, I didn't know that what's her name? Molly boyfriend and what's her name? Not Molly boyfriend, Andrew, and Molly have only been dating for about 2-3 months. Girl, you trying to invite him to meet your family on Thanksgiving? I know Thanksgiving is a little casual, but I'm sorry, like, I don't invite people to come meet my family and all that. Like 2-3 months, I know dudes got that bad, but females, we're like, when you bring somebody to meet the family, unless you just like one of them females that just bring everybody around. But I'm just not like that. And Molly, she just pushed, and I can get why Issa was saying that, like, girl, nah, don't be trying to invite him to your family house, and that shit can be extreme. Like, nah, that's too much. But I don't know, it's everybody different, and I know I definitely wouldn't invite anybody I've been with for only 2 to 3 months any fucking where with my family. Like, no, they not ready. They got to be prepped and ready, and I got to be ready mentally and everything. Like, no. But anyway, so we see Condola is at her house prepping for Friendsgiving. Then Lawrence comes in. Condola got a nice ass house. Like, she is fancy, and she is fancy. What the hell was that? Y'all thought a bug just flew by. But anyway, like, she fancy and everything. So I'm like, is Condola like older than Issa and Lawrence? Or maybe she just got her shit like way more together earlier in life. But she's also divorced. So I'm like, how long was she married? How old is Condola? I'm wondering. I don't know if it's mentioned in the show. Like, is she like older than them? And she just look good because she black? Or, I mean, her character, or what? I'm confused. So from there, yeah, Lawrence. Oh, and then her sink is messed up, and Lawrence like, oh, I thought you were gonna get it fixed, and then she's like, oh no, the plumber couldn't do it because they said that I got a sink. He's like, oh, let me take a look at it, I'll fix it. She's like, all right, I'm gonna get ready for dinner, and I'll be back out. So then Issa and Amal, her brother, they are going to Issa's mama house or her husband, and they see the ambulance outside. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then they said the same thing. They ran up, and it's just like, it turns out Issa's mama husband, or they father-in-law, just slipped and fell on some gravy, and then mama went to the hospital with him. So that was like, fuck it, we ain't going in there if our mama ain't even, in there. Fuck it, like, let's just leave. So they decided to jump ship on Thanksgiving altogether. So from there, Condola and Lawrence, they sitting there talking with friends during Friendsgiving and everything. I guess they was all done eating, and oh wait, no, they weren't eating yet. They was all just schmoozing, and then it comes out because one of Condola's friends works in tech. It comes out that there are problems at Lawrence's job, and they're like, "Oh shit, is you cool?" He was like, "Nah, my job's safe." So he thinks, or so they telling him so far, but he was like he thinking about leaving there anyway. And I'm like, from what he said, the girl that he was talking to who works in tech work at a really good place. I'm like, you better make some connections in network because your job may not be there tomorrow, boo. I mean, even if shit don't work out with you and Condola, at least you get a good job networking thing or something. Make sure you always should be networking, especially in that field or in any field, especially when it's one that's so finicky as that one. So from there, what else the hell happened? Molly is back at Molly's house. Molly's brother is there, and then her other brother is there with his baby mama, I guess, or wife. I don't know. She pregnant and whatnot. And then Molly is still shading her dad, and dad was like, "Oh, Molly, I got your, favorite drinks and all that." Then she talking about, "Oh no, I'm cutting back on sugar." Like every time he tried to like make little kind gestures to her, she seemed to kind of blow her father off. And then Molly's talking to her mom, and she was like, "Oh, so is Easter coming by or what?" I was like, "Yeah, she gonna come." And then they was making pies and stuff for the pie later on, and then she's like, "Yeah, make the crust extra crispy because that's how Easter like it." And then another part was she was talking to her mama, and her mama just reminded me that everybody mama like this. Not everybody, but a lot of people mama like this, like because she was talking to a little kid, I guess probably like her nephew or something. And she was showing him how to do something, and she's like, the mom was like, "Oh, are you getting in your practice?" And then she's like, "Oh, I see you practice." She's like, "Well, I'm waiting on when I'm gonna have some grandbabies." My mama is like that too. Even before I even had a stable man, just throughout as I started getting older, and I wasn't with nobody, and I was on and off with people, you just get that from your parents, like, "Oh, when you gonna get with somebody?" Then we got married and get with somebody. "Oh, when you gonna have babies?" I'm like, calm down. Can I just be with or be doing whatever I'm doing? That pressure is annoying. That's why people don't want to be around their family now. So, she was like, "Dang, Molly, well, are you at least seeing somebody?" And then Molly goes and shows her mom Andrew, and then the brother takes the phone and he looks, and then he makes a joke or like, "Oh, is he crazy and rich because he's Asian?" And I'm like, "Oh, tee hee hee." And then Molly's mom was like, "You should have brought him, that would have been a nice thing. We could have met him and stuff." And she was like, "No, Issa kind of made a comment about like it'd be too much and I don't want to scare him away or whatever." And Molly's mom goes on to say, like, "Girl, no, if you're too much, then that's just, if he finds you too much or he's acts this or scares away from you or whatever with that, then that just means that he wasn't the right person for you in the first place." And to some extent, yes, I do agree with her mom, but sometimes you just don't do certain things, just jump right into stuff. Some people are ready for that and to do that, but me, I'm not. But I guess if that's the kind of person Molly is just full face forward into stuff, then I guess the person that she gets with has to be okay with that. And okay, but honestly, I'm indifferent about that. But that's just me. But anyway, so from there, what else happened? Shit. Oh, Condola and her friends are talking. They having some wine. I guess dinner is over or whatnot. And one of her friends is like super drunk, and she's just like saying the most. And another two of her friends, they're a lesbian couple, and they're like discussing their marriage. And Condola was giving them not their wedding planning, and Condola gives them a good advice, like, "Hey, why don't you just go ahead and rent a gallery, so then that way, blah, 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 you can fix it however you want and the cost and this." And they're like, "Damn, Condola, you should just plan our wedding." She was like, "Oh, I don't want to plan your wedding or even my own wedding or ever hear about weddings ever again." So Lawrence kind of looks over, because you can see that Lawrence is not aware that Condola has no desire to get married again, or at least in her mind right now, she's just turned completely off to marriage at this point. So then he gets up to go get some more wine because it got a little awkward. He gets up and gets some more wine, and then her drunk ass friend comes into the kitchen with him, and I was like, I hope she don't make a pass at him because that'd be weird, but she didn't. She was drunk as hell, and they were talking, and then she was like, oh, I'm just so happy that Condola found you, because after Martin or Michael, whatever her ex-husband name is, after he left her, I'm like, damn, he left her. It's like, after he left her, she's having such had a rough time, and I'm just so happy that she found somebody, new to get over all of that, and somebody casual, like pretty much kind of just throwing out all these words to kind of seem like Lawrence isn't anything serious. He was just somebody he's just somebody that Condola is like rebound, pretty much. I mean, just to help her get herself back on the right track and feel better about herself again. That's pretty much how she said it. So, and then Lawrence took that as like, oh, well, okay. But she drunk, but I mean, maybe she knows that's one of Condola's very close friends. Drunk minds, sober thoughts. She might be saying some shit that Condola done said to her, okay? And she just don't know how to hold her mouth closed when she's drunk. So from there, Issa and... Oh, wait. I forgot to say that Issa and them all, they ended up at a Mexican restaurant, and that's where they're going to go spend Thanksgiving. So they're at the Mexican restaurant, and then they just start talking, her and her brother. I love their relationship because they just keep it so 100, and they just, he's like her best friend next to Molly, and they're just talking, and she was just speaking on how his ex was, or a dude he was talking to was, and he was just like, he disclosed that, he's tired of changing for people, so whoever he is now, and that's just who he gonna be, and he ain't changing for nobody no more. And then Issa goes on to say how she saw Lawrence and, the girl that he's dating, and then he asked her, how is she really feeling about that? And he was like, and then Issa says some really deep shit. She goes to say like, oh, it was all right and everything, but it just seems like, they were going out, on a date and shit, and I know that was shit that he never did with me because he couldn't, he was broke as fuck. And I know that he was paying. Like, she pretty much broke it down. It's just like, I put forth all this effort into this man to make him a better person and help him stay on his feet while he was off his feet and all this. And he laid up on me for so long, and now he just decides to change and be better. And finally, all the stuff she was trying to get him to do, he's doing it. And the person that's reaping the benefits of all of her hard work into this man is going to this new chick that he barely know, and she just feels like it's not fair. I completely understand this, and a lot of women can relate to this when it comes to stuff like this. Like, you be with a dude or whatnot for years and years through all they fuckatry, through all their bullshit, everything, like shaping them into somebody or pushing them, and then they finally, till y'all fucking reach a breaking point, and then all of a sudden they just finally decide to get their act together, and all the shit that you've taught them or all the shit that they've realized about themselves and everything, they put that forth into their next relationship to do way better. But meanwhile, you had to deal with all the fuck shit, and now it just doesn't seem fair, because that's the person that you wanted all along, and that's the person that you knew that person could be, but it just didn't work out because you had to deal with all the fuck shit, and it just was too heavy on your relationship. And then the brother was like, I completely understand that, and don't be sad about how you feel. You can feel that way. You can feel however you want to feel, and I completely understand that. And I understand where she's coming from with that shit too. I'd be mad too, because I've seen this before, and it's happened to me, and it's happened to people that I know. Like, you be like, damn, I did all this work for this person, or I taught him how to do that, and he did this. It's just like that, and it is what it is. And then he also goes off to say how I hope my husband gets that door. Okay, he is, because I want to pause this. Sorry, y'all. If you don't buzz them in. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I am so sorry, y'all. But yeah, like, you do all this for somebody, and then all of a sudden they give all that goodness to somebody else, and you mad. But anyway, that's probably wasn't my final thought on that, but that just completely threw me off, y'all. Sorry. It was a delivery pack of a package. From there, we see Condola and Lawrence. They're saying goodbye to Condola's friends. And Lawrence's so-called fixing the sink did not work because he was trying to do something on the sink earlier in the day, and the sink just started spraying all over him. So now he cleaning up, mopping up all that shit, and they're saying bye to the friends, and then they're just talking, and then he was like, yeah, your friends are funny and everything. She's like, yeah, thanks for coming and everything. He's like, thanks for inviting me. And Condola goes off to say like, oh, well, actually I didn't invite you kind of invited yourself, which is true, but kind of the way she said it kind of seemed kind of shady. It seemed kind of like, oh, okay. And then he goes on and he's like, oh, because he was like, oh, I didn't want to pressure you. She's like, he was like, oh, what was, like, asking her, like, oh, why are you saying it like that? And she was like, I just didn't, want you to feel pressure, and I didn't want to feel that type of pressure either, or whatnot. And then he was like, oh, okay. And then they start getting into it kind of. And he was like, well, I guess your friend was right. And then he was like, she's like, what you talking about? He was like, yeah, she kind of says that I'm pretty much a fuck buddy. And she's like, oh, she was drunk, she don't know what she's saying. But he was like, well, it seems like from how her demeanor, how she said she really didn't invite him, that's pretty much seeming what it is. She's like, well, how do you, and then they start just going back and forth. And then he's like, you had your ex and stuff, and she's only been divorced for like a year and a half. And she's like, and then he was asking her about her ex. She's like, well, how you gonna sit here and ask me about my ex and all that stuff when, Condola is literally seeing his ex on a regular basis. And then she's like, you and Issa are going around making these little kiki ha jokes and stuff and everything, but you talking to me about my ex, he gone. He was like, well, do you still have feelings for him? She never answered that fucking question. But she, in the same token, she could ask him that question, because I don't even know how long her marriage was. Like, low-key, what if Issa and Lawrence were together longer than her marriage was? I need some answers on that, y'all. But anyway, so they kind of had like some type of argument when it comes to that. And then she was like, okay. And then he was like, yeah, well, Issa is different because Issa cheated on me and I left. And then she's like, okay, so she cheated on you, but what if she hadn't cheated on you? Would y'all still be together? And then it kind of cuts off on that. So would they still be together? Like, maybe, because it kind of seemed like they were settled in where they were. And Issa kind of just, fuck, keep ringing all these bells. I'm sorry, y'all. I just keep hearing stuff. Almost done. So from there, Issa and her brother are driving. She's driving her brother home, and then she's like, she got to go see Molly because she's promised. What the hell is that noise? Sorry, y'all. It's just weird noise going around my house. So this is like one of the most distracting like videos I've ever done. Then she's like, oh, I'm gonna go to Molly's and get some pie or whatever, and we supposed to be talking. She's like, the brother could tell like the way she mentioned it. He's like, oh, are y'all good? She's like, yeah, it's just some shit. And then she's like, nah, we're fine, just friendship, we're fine. So she didn't really want to talk about she didn't really want to acknowledge the Molly thing. So if she goes telling other people about it, then it's really a thing. So I get that. So and it's enough that that she's already postponed Molly, because she was supposed to be there a while ago, but she texted her earlier like, oh, it's some shit going down, I'll be there later. Then after that, and then Molly was like, all right, cool. And then Molly is just at her house, still hanging out with her family and everything. And I forgot, there was a scene with Molly and her when the family was all about to play Taboo or whatever. And Molly, who usually is daddy's girl, usually plays on her dad's team. She was like, oh, no, I could just keep score or whatever. So the brother was like, Molly, can I talk to you for a minute? And then he was like, you need to just, like, lay off on dad. Like, that shit old and everything. You still keep being awkward with him. Like, you need to let that go. She's like, I just can't. How he did, Mom. And then he was like, that's right. He did that to Mom, not you. Like, he fucked up, but he stayed and he made that shit right. He just, and then he explains to her, like, you know, he was just a man who messed up and he did better. Like, niggas fuck up. Like, she's like, don't call dad a nigga. She's like, parents can be niggas too, dads can be niggas too, which is true. People kind of put their parents on too much of a pedestal, and then when their parents fuck up, it just hits them so much harder. But it's like, you have to understand, and you really won't understand that until you're older. But Molly's a lot older, so I don't understand why Molly's still holding on to all these like great things. And life is fucked up. Like, parents are just adults and people too. Like, people make mistakes. And I'm like, bitch, you was fucking a whole married man. I mean, even though his wife was known about it and everything, that shit's still weird. Like, like, you're so open and stuff, and you think the stuff that you do is okay, but like, and cheating, like, I don't know. Like, people just, I know how people hold their parents on a pedestal, and the sooner people, adults, like, she's too grown for that. She needs to just get over it, honestly. Okay, yeah, she found out, she was upset, and it's been enough time. She should let that shit go. Which, at the end of the episode, it kind of shows that she does, because she goes and cuts a slice of pie for her dad and everything, and then she's, you know, it was just like a gesture of like, okay, we cool now, kind of, or I'm getting over it type shit. So that was nice. So then Issa was talking to her after she leaves from her brother. Instead of going to Molly's house, she ends up texting Molly like, oh, can we just do this another time? I was like, that's kind of bogus, but it was kind of late, but whatever. I mean, holidays, shit run late. People show up all the time late and shit. And then her family's small. Like, it wasn't even like something, you know how them big family Thanksgivings can be crazy and people be there forever. But Molly was just like, all right, whatever. So who knows when they're gonna talk or whatever, maybe next episode. So we see then I just want to make a little note on the rest of the characters in the show, like the friends of Lawrence and Issa. They were showed throughout the episode through like Facebook Lives and how they are with their family. Kelly was with her aunties and stuff and family, having a good time, getting drunk, and, you know, doing family shit for Thanksgiving. Who else? Tiffany and her husband, they was having their own little quaint little Thanksgiving together, and, you know, it was nice and little cute stuff on their Facebook Live. Who else? Chad did something to his girlfriend that she was upset about and whatever. So we saw all of them, but just through, like, you know, through the visual of Facebook Live. So then, last part, Lawrence is looking through everybody's like Facebook Lives and shit, and then you know, just goes through all the friends. Then it pops up Issa, and Issa, she recorded when she was at the Mexican restaurant, because the mariachi band had walked up and started singing this Thanksgiving song. And Issa recorded that, and then he just sitting there looking, and then he went and he put a whole bunch of laughy faces all over it, and he's just looking at Issa, and I was like, but then at the very, very end, the song Maya, Case of the Exes, popped up, and I'm like, because they haven't been broken up that long. Now he's starting to feel a certain type of way. He's reminiscing about Issa and shit, because they did have like a really good like friendship, relationship type thing. That's why they're so cordial and so cool, because I mean, a big pressure on them was Lawrence was just in a funk, and it's hard to be with men when they're in that type of mind space, you know. Ladies, if you understand where I'm coming from, then you know. But like, when a man is in that type of slump and he just feels like down on himself, like he can't do nothing. And I mean, Issa, she was kind of in the same space. She did have a job, yes, but she wasn't in a job where she was happy or doing the things that she really wanted to do. And now we see Issa, they've both evolved and gotten so much growth has happened between both of them. And they're both doing well now. They're both like, you know, I mean, hopefully Lawrence don't get fired from his job. But I mean, Issa don't even have a job, but she's finding something that gives her purpose and something that she's really passionate about. And Lawrence is doing really, really well too. Even Chad, his friend, has said that, like, man, you completely different from how you were a year ago. And everybody can see that, and Issa sees it, and that's why Issa's feeling some type of way. And Lawrence even sees how Issa's growth and how she doing so well, and, you know, like, she's standing on her, I mean, Issa was already standing on her own, but she's doing something that she's passionate about. And I think that was a big thing on their relationship. they were both like stuck in places that they didn't want to be. Lawrence didn't want to be unemployed and shit, obviously, anymore, and he didn't want to feel like he always was dependent on his girl for everything and just on them unemployment checks and shit. And Issa, she just wanted a job where she felt like it gave her meaning and purpose to her life, and she wasn't like just doing some shit, you know? So now that just adds another dynamic. And again, they have not been broken up for that long. People get back together in those time frames, which can happen. So what do y'all think? I think there might, I don't know if they're going to write them to get back together, or is there going to be a slip up or what? Because it can get kind of tricky when, you know, you messing with case of the exes. It's like, why you calling? Why you talking to this person and all this stuff after all this time? But again, it ain't been that long. They were together for 5 years. That's nothing to shoo away from. And people do get back together, especially sometimes you gotta let the love go to find your way back to somebody that happens all the time. I've seen it. We've all seen it. So that is it, y'all. I know it's a little lengthy, but I just had a lot of opinions with regarding this episode. It was a very Lawrence heavy episode, and yeah, I will see y'all next time. What are y'all predictions? Do you think Lawrence and Issa gonna get back together? You think it's gonna be a slip up? Do you think it's gonna be a huge thing where like they sleep together, Condola finds out, and then like all hell break loose? What do you think is going to be the final thing between Issa and Molly that makes Issa be like, she don't fuck with Molly like that no more? Like, remember, that's what she said at the very beginning of this season. What do you think is going to happen? Is it all going to happen at this block party? Leave your comments below. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Hope everybody's safe and well. Love you, love you, love you. Peace. Bye.